as we set the framework for tonight's discussion.
Yes, I need to give you some background information. When we talk about criticism, there's 4 ways that I see and talk to people about being critical of others.
Mm-hmm.
We are directly
critical. Or we just say you're stupid, you're a jerk, you're deranged, you're an ass. Through pitching and nagging. Are
you getting the gist of it? It's you. Whether I say it is the implication there is you. We're indirectly critical.
We tend to do that a lot more. We say things like, "Well, how do you know? How do you think I feel?" Or, "Gee, it would be nice to have a hot meal when I come home once in a while." Or,
sure. So I don't come right out and say it, but I may be sarcastic. I may use humor to be indirectly critical so that I can get out of it later, and so I make it a funny piece, a funny comment at the time that I say it. The third are the nonverbals, my facial expressions, my body language, the way that I look at you or toward you or when I'm talking to you.
Sure.
All that stuff.
And that idea of nonverbals has to do with you do communicate by your body language and facial expressions. I mean, haven't you been in front of someone and you can see by the way they're looking at you that they're not having a good day?
Oh, yeah.
Or, if you will, disapproval.
Right.
I could always tell when I came home from school and as a kid that, Mom was mad. she gave me the look.
Uh-huh.
And we know what the look is all about, right?
Right. Well, I tease people now because I have reading glasses. And so when I have to put them on, I put them on and I'm reading, and somebody may come in and talk to me, and instead of raising my head and looking at them, I'll look over my reading glasses. And I remember my first grade teacher doing that.
I'm shutting down already.
I have to be careful because it can be one of those nonverbal signals,
sure,
depending upon how the other person, I'll take my glasses off now, perceives it.
And I do warn, especially my men, because they tend to radiate that negative energy through their facials and don't even realize they're doing it.
Oh, yeah. Men get accused of that a lot. They tell me about it. And then finally is this idea of my own self-criticism, my own self-talk.
That's right, self-criticism. And we do critique ourselves in such ways that we begin to feel that we can't do things. We can't
keep our own
accomplish
list of where we think we fail and where we think we're weak and where we think we aren't doing well. And we play it over and over to ourselves. And
I like to mention to folks that unless you build yourself up, unless you believe that you can, then it's just not going to work for you. That is, the odds are increasingly against you if you become negative.
Absolutely.
And don't even get on the playing field of life because you're not going to make a very good effort.
Yeah.
So you've heard me say this last week, and I love this, and that is that optimism doesn't guarantee success, but pessimism
guarantees failure.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that kind of applies to this notion of self-criticism.
Yeah. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some questions that deal with these types of criticism.
Yep. I'm Dr. Pilet. We hope to see you in a few minutes. Hey, welcome back. I'm Dr. Pilet.
And I'm Carrie Pilet.
Today's topic is criticism, and I want to remind everybody that when we think about that word criticism, I need you to back up and realize that critics are something that we all use. I mean, we went to a movie recently, and we looked up the movie reviews, and that's what a critique is, right?
Yeah.
And there was
people get paid to critique. I'd like to be one of those people.
and when people are positive in their critiques, especially we tend to go see them.
Yes.
I worked in the federal government for almost 27 years, and one thing I learned is that you don't negatively critique an employee. You have to make positive recommendations of improvement and how to do better. And in today's topic, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give you that notion of not just what criticism is, direct, indirect, nonverbal, and self-criticism, but we're also trying to give you some insight about constructive versus destructive criticism.
Right.
And I got to throw this out at you because I'd written this in one of my notes, and it says, your best friends are those that allow you to feel good about yourself, and they encourage you to improve and grow.
Right.
They give you positive criticism, encouragement, and at the same time give you positive strokes.
Sure.
Now, when you think about those statements about your good friends, think about those that aren't your good friends, and they do just the opposite.
Right.
They don't allow you to feel good about yourself. They point out everything that you've ever done wrong.
Right.
There is no notion to improve or to grow, and it's all about scorecarding, if you will, bringing up the things that you've done in the past that are bad, and then reminding you of them.
Right.
So, we're going to be talking about...
And I'm not likely to keep those people in my life because they don't meet any of those criteria of the 4 kinds of people I want in my life. Keep that up, and I'm out of here.